Well, it's exactly 7:30 on my iPad here. So I want to welcome everybody to our Friday night Shabbat services. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be saying hello to you as your new president of the temple. We're looking forward to a wonderful service this evening. And the good news is that we are meeting in person in July. So our board has approved that we will be meeting in person starting July. So July, August, and thereafter, we will be in person. However, we know that many people have enjoyed the Zoom, and we are also going to be meeting on Zoom and by computer. So if you prefer the electronic version of services, you will still be able to do that. We do have a wonderful opportunity for everybody, however. Since when we planned to do the in-person was very up in the air, we did not include a line item budget for it, a line item in our budget for it. So we do not have anything in our budget right now to pay for the streaming service. The church has streaming available. However, they are making us pay. We are paying at a very reduced rate, but it still is coming to between $150 and $200 each service. So we're making a wonderful mitzvah opportunity for all our congregants. If you would like to sponsor the streaming service for July, August, or any time after that, please let us know. And of course, we will make the announcement that you are our sponsors for the streaming service for that evening. Okay, let's move on and start Rabbi Bimbam.
Thank you, Carol. Let me invite all of you to join in our singing and get ready to be warmed up for what will be I hope, joyous service. And we'll start right now in those same words that we have started for all these times together with Bimbam. And I'm hoping you will have your hand clapping and other appropriate gestures and symbolic enthusiasm as we welcome Shabbat together. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim bim bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. We continue now with the kindling of the Shabbat lights, excuse me, on page 120, as Eddie Yaspa will lead us in this Shabbat candle blessing. Eddie, you're muted. You're muted.
Gotcha. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
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 Thank you very much. As we invite you to turn now to page 124. At the bottom of the page.
There we go.
May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, and hopes to nurture. May the door of our homes and our congregation be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. And may the doors of our homes and the door of our synagogues be for all who enter doorways to a richer and more meaningful life. As together we say, Amen.
Amen.
As we welcome the Shabbat bride now, as Cantor Ken will lead us in the singing of Lecha Dodi, found in your prayer books, page 138. Page 138. Ken?
Lecha dodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad hishmianu el hamayuchad Adonai ushmo Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem u'letiferet v'letila lecha dodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi makor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'makshabat tehila. Lecha dodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nekabela. Oi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'b'tzala. Toch emunei am segula bo vichala lecha dodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nekabela.
Thank you very much. And Ken, it's wonderful to have you back for this Shabbat as we continue now with the Chatzi Kaddish, page 144. Page 144. Ken?
Yitkadal v'yitkadal shemei rabba v'yolam adi v'rachil v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'bizman koril v'yimru Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach V'yolam lo me'omaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitparar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei l'churusha rechu le'elah min kol b'chata v'shirata Tush b'chata v'nechemata damiran v'yama v'yimaru. Amen.
As we continue now at the bottom of page 145, entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without the presence of God. As we continue now reading first our call to worship with the Baruch Hu on page 146, followed, of course, by Ken leading us in the singing. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach, praise Adonai to whom praise is due. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed, praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due, now and forever.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach. Baruch Adonai hamavorach le'olam va'ed.
O God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthermost star. We yearn to reach you. We seek the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. And oh, let our desire be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and reveal the glory and joy of your presence as we continue now with the Shema, page 152, as Ken leads us in these words, praising God and God's name.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
As we continue now, page 157, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and walking together. As we continue now with the singing of Micha Mocha, who is like you, O God, among all the gods that are worshipped, who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, working wonders. Ken?
Mi chamocha ve'elim Adonai, mi chamocha ne'edo b'kodesh. Nora tehila Oseh fele, nora tehilot Oseh fele. Malachotacha Rahuvanecha Bokei Ayam Lifnei Moshe Zeli Anu V'Yamru Adonai Yimloch Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed.
Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now we hope and pray quiet soon and content, for soldiers going home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. As we continue now, page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. As we continue now with the singing of Shalom Rav on page 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom, hashalom. V'tov b'einecha levarech et amcha לברך את עמך ישראל. בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך. תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within its borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. As we continue now, not in the words found in our prayer books, but the words that are found in our hearts on this Shabbat Eve, as we continue now in silent prayer and meditation, thinking of all of those around the world who seek the blessings of peace, who seek the blessings of comfort and joy, as we continue now in our own words, in silent prayer and meditation. As we turn with blessings to God, so do we pause to remember the names of our family and friends who seek special blessings and prayers on this Shabbat, seeking for themselves health of mind and spirit and body. On this Shabbat, we call these names of special people to all of us, that they might receive God's blessings on this day and every day. Harriet Kaufman, Robert Cofino, Barbara Wiswer, Deborah Dahl, Fran Silberman, Eric Smith, Jesse Ferguson, Matthew Palager, Marcy Kozel, Paul Rosenberg, Jack Miller, Eric Schwartz, Jay Holliday, Rhoda Rubin, Tracy Isaacs, Carol Smith, Linda Schwartz, Beth Israel, Jay Israel, Olivia Scheinkopf, Michelle Schlafrock, Bob Wiener, Allison Dutka, Gabrielle Ross, Arthur Siegel, Judy Smith, Scott Horowitz, Jonathan Daniel Cochran, Sam Emmett, Susan Rubin, David Moy, Susan Levine, Alexandra Hubelbank, Mimi Hubelbank Block, Heather Adler, Mark Robin, Alan Karp, Stanley Hurwitz, the Schoonover family, Joey Goldstein, Marlo Bedini, Aidan Mellon, Joan Ecker, Linda Schwartz, Herb Marshall, Sherry Eckert, Elaine Berlind, Denise McQuaid, Judy Schatz, and all of those who are ill from COVID, and the medical and professional first responders and doctors and nurses and caretakers who support them and who support all of our loved ones in times of ill health and weakness, as we share now in the singing of Mishaberach, which you'll find the words on page 371, as we will share now in a recording of our choir singing these familiar words. No time tests the fiber of a clergy person more than the times of personal emergency. No time tests the fiber of a chaplain more than the moments of national emergency. Chaplains are literally on the front lines. They are expected to perform in situations often too overwhelming to imagine. We saw that on September 11th, 2001, 20 years ago. We saw that on February 3rd, 80 years ago, 1944. The sacrifice of 4 men of God to quiet the panic and fear of World War II military aboard a sinking ship was almost unimaginable to many. And after the destruction of the World Trade Centers, an event 20 years ago, but as if it was yesterday in most of our minds, sadly, it is all too imaginable. After the events at the US Capitol on January 6th, it is all too imaginable as well. After the marches and the shootings and the bombings and the pandemic, it is all too imaginable. That event on the sinking Atlantic ship has forever left its mark on the minds of those who know the story. It is a story that encompasses love and sacrifice and faith and trust in a moment of profound tragedy. All emotions that we have seen in the past months from individuals, families, communities, and our country. The SS Dorchester was moving steadily across the icy waters from Newfoundland toward an American base on Greenland. The captain knew that German U-boats were constantly patrolling these vital sea lanes and at 12:55 a.m. that February morning, a periscope broke the frigid Atlantic waters, and a German submarine U-223 fired its torpedoes. With devastating accuracy, these torpedoes hit their mark right in the engine room of the ship, creating panic and chaos for all of them aboard. Unbelievably, through the pandemonium, 4 Army chaplains brought hope and gave life to many in a time of despair and death. Their names: George Fox, a Methodist chaplain; Alexander Good, a rabbi; John Washington, a Catholic priest; and Clark Poling from the Dutch Reformed Church. In the next 27 minutes, these 4 men moved all around those around them with their calm and their love, their faith, their courage, and their guidance. They tended the wounded. They guided the disoriented towards safety. And as perhaps you know, if you know the story, when there were no more life jackets, they gave their own to several terrified soldiers. That would have been story enough, I think. But there was more. As those who survived the ship sinking reported, when the ship went down, after these brave chaplains had given those terrified soldiers their gloves and life jackets and overcoats to protect them from the frigid waters, those survivors reported that they could see the 4 chaplains, arms linked together, bracing themselves on the ever more slanted deck. Their voices could be heard offering prayers in English, in Hebrew, in Latin, all in unison, but all in their own faith traditions. God heard them and understood them, all in their own faith traditions. These 4 chaplains were the model of religious diversity in life and in death. Together they served. Together they prayed. Together they gave their lives for others. Almost 700 died that tragic night, making it the 3rd largest loss of life at sea for the United States during World War II. A Coast Guard cutter, the Tampa, escorted the other freighters to Greenland, and the cutters Comanche and Escanaba disobeyed orders to continue searching for survivors. They rescued 230 American troops from the frigid waters of the Atlantic that night. It is perhaps meaningful that Rabbi Good and his colleagues were memorialized in a U.S. postage stamp, and Rabbi Good is the first Jewish individual to be pictured on an American stamp. America has changed drastically since that night almost 80 years ago. We are no longer an agricultural economy. We are now the world's only superpower. We are not really a manufacturing nation. We are an information age economy. Our society is less segregated than in the world of those days and the decades which followed, with separate and unequal facilities for some and military units of homogeneous color. All we need to do in our own day is to look at the American athletes in the Olympic team potentially going to Tokyo, with the broad diversity of our nation's citizens being represented by Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans, African Americans, Russian Americans, Eastern European Americans, all who will stand proudly when the Star-Spangled Banner plays over the sound system in Tokyo, as it did in Brazil, in Beijing, or Russia, or wherever. We are a different nation because we saw in the thousands killed 20 years ago in the terrorist attacks on New York and Washington and Pennsylvania, that more than people of 86 nations lost citizens that day. We are truly no longer just citizens of America because we are citizens of the world. We used to believe that our oceans could protect us. Those 4 brave chaplains learned otherwise, and so did the victims of September 11th. Tonight, at the request of our leaders of the congregation, we honor the devoted Americans who served our country in its many wars. Tonight, we recall the greatest military invasion of World War II, of D-Day, Tuesday, June the 6th, 1944. And I believe that Temple Oseh Shalom's tradition to honor all of you who served in our armed forces, who are volunteering at Paris Island to care for our troops there, and for all of our own loved ones who served our country over the decades. It is a very special moment. You see, remembering those 4 immortal chaplains is a magnificent gesture of religious, civic, and patriotic unity. And I truly believe that this Shabbat, at which we remember their memory and recognize the remarkable bravery, and their remarkable bravery means even more now than in the decades before. For we have seen heroism. We have seen it firsthand. We have seen men and women of every color, nationality, and faith work shoulder to shoulder, hour upon hour, to find the injured, to soothe the bereaved, to help the ill in these months of COVID. The tragic death of more than 600,000 Americans of every color, faith, nationality, and location. We have seen the heroism of first responders, of medical professionals, of our armed forces, police, and community servants, volunteers, restaurateurs, chefs, people of every walk of life who have stood heroically to care for others, often at their own personal risk. The almost miraculous gesture of those 4 good men 80 years ago is something that we now understand very well firsthand. Those 4 chaplains, Reverend Fox, Rabbi Good, Father Washington, and Reverend Poling, are enduring examples of extraordinary faith and courage and self-sacrifice. They are also the examples of God's children finding the will and the way to work together in shared vision and purpose and values. God created us in his own image, they taught, and we learned that by accepting the godliness in all of our neighbors, we exemplify in our lives the lessons those 4 chaplains taught with their lives that they gave up. Tonight, our Shabbat service represents the end of one of the more trying times for this congregation and all other houses of worship, as we hopefully conclude the 16 months of online Shabbat services and Torah study. So many of you have helped to make this happen. Bill Altman and our incredible technical crew, Terry and her amazing officers and board members, Ken Rosenberg, and that treasured partnership that he and I share, Barry and Ray and the Untiring Ritual Committee, Rhoda and her support team keeping us informed, Bill and Elliot and their shofar crew, and most of all, the hundreds of you who participated and prayed and sang even while muted and shared that remarkable spirit which symbolizes the Temple Oseh Shalom community. I hope that this is the last of those only online services. We look forward to being together in July and August, and of course for the High Holy Days, even while we provide online services for those who prefer to be at home. In your own ways, we have seen your heroism in a difficult, long, and unexpected crisis. With vaccines and face masks, caring for others as we hope they are caring for us, we have shown important heroism in our own day when it was asked of us, as those brave soldiers and chaplains showed when reality, tragic reality, demanded it of them. Ken Yehi Ratzon, so may it be for all of us in days to come, as we say together, Amen. One of the special joys of our opportunities to worship together and to share in our services together is to pause and to give thanks for the many reasons that we have to be grateful on this Shabbat or any time. And so now it's my pleasure to ask our president, Carol Liff, to share some of the simchas that have been provided by many of you for this Shabbat. Carol?
Thank you, Rabbi. First, I'd like to announce that Arlene and Ron Schwartz have a second great-granddaughter, Hannah Rose Neffen, who was born on May 26, 2021. And they also noted that fortunately for them, she and her family live 15 minutes away from us in Bluffton. So there's lots of opportunity to get together. So congratulations, Arlene and Ron. Jackie and Larry Katz. On June 8th, their 63rd wedding anniversary. Mazel tov. Also, their twin granddaughters graduated from college. Katie Miller from Princeton and Sydney Miller from the University of Pennsylvania. Smart girls. Wonderful. Mazel tov. Terry and David Weintraub have two happy occasions to share. One, their granddaughter Lee was married on May 30th. And secondly, they celebrated 37 years of marriage on June 9th. Mazel tov. Sue and Bob Weiner are announcing that they're celebrating grandson Adams Israel's graduation summa cum laude from Hofstra University, and their granddaughter Melissa Israel's graduation from high school with many honors and her acceptance at the business school at the University of Wisconsin. So mazel tov to them. And from Susan Levine, Susan, her grandson Sam Chanison became an Eagle Scout in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. Her grandson Jake Chanison graduated from Swarthmore College, and he is going to University of Chicago for his master's and PhD in computer science. So mazel tov to all of you. and I'm so glad to share in your simchas. Thank you.
And to those names that Carol read for us that you provided, we think of all of you with birthdays and anniversaries and other reasons for which you are celebrating on this Shabbat, in the loved stories of your loved ones and family, and of course, friends, wherever they may be. So we share together in those words that give us praise and give us thanks. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehachiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who gives us life, who sustains us, and has allowed us to share in these special and joyous moments, to which we say together, Amen. We invite now for Arnold Seidman and Steve Dutka to share for us a prayer for our congregation and a prayer for our country. Arnold?
Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us: love of Torah, devotion and prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us to be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy. Baruch atah Adonai, Shalom Avad Lemi Navad.
Thank you very much. As we invite now Steve to share with us the prayer for our country on page 376 as well.
I couldn't do it.
You're muted. Steve, you're muted. Steve, you're muted.
Steve,
Steve, you're
unmute.
muted. Steve, you're muted.
Steve, you're muted.
Steve, you were muted. You have to do it again.
You were muted.
Unmute.
He is
I
now.
don't think he's hearing us. We should move on.
Okay. And we'll ask now for Carol Rosenberg to lead us in the prayer for the state of Israel, page 377.
O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Carol. As we invite you now to please turn to page 586. And for those of you comfortable in doing so, may rise for the Aleinu, page 586, that Ken will lead us in with this great prayer of thanksgiving and gratitude as we continue with the Aleinu and the Va'anachnu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצאי בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים. לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והויה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
As we arrive at this moment in our service, each time we're together, so we share in the names of those who have gone on to the blessings of life eternal, of all of our loved ones whose deaths occurred in the month of June in this year and years past. And so we remember them on this night as we call the names of Milton Cole, Philip Pincus Siegel, Francis Zallen, Judy Carty, Earl M. Ferguson, Sidney Hollander, Jack Kravitz, Sylvia Donenfeld, Rose Cooperman, Sam Dubin, Ted Winitsky, Victor Levine, Dr. Robert Singer, Annette Emmett Rothstein, Miriam Mitchie Libros, Bernard Kappelson, Ann Kravitz, Joseph Grossman, William Leibovich, Louis Linden, Max Schwartz, Sarah Weinstein, Esther Grundliger, Charles Kesselman, Melvin Reich, Eva Rubin, Brucha Rabinovich, Henny Greenberg, Ruth Lissman, Sam Rosenthal, Betty Lockhart, Karl Klingenstierna, Vivian Maurer, Julius Roberts, Marjorie Greenberg, Ruth Weinberger, Jacob Rotter, Rachel Usprich, Anna Litt, Dinah Eichler, David Zager, Emmanuel Reff, Frank Coate, Arlene Melamed, Jean Landisman, Ella Schwimmer, Joyce Tabb, Sheila Cantor, Harriet White, Louis Kargach, Tilly Friedlander, Rose Browning, Helen Solomon, William Morocnik, Morris Jack Goldberg, Ann Romoff, Jenny Rosendorf, Leo Berman, Kurt Russian, Rose Finkel, Samuel Burwitz, Bertha Polstein, Ruth Wiener, Harry Tancomb, Fanny Rawitz, Hyman Karp, Baby Boy Ruggieri, Isidore Hecht, Sylvia Wagner, Israel Hubelbank, Edith Buckberg, Aaron Shatner, Mary Rich, Claire Haller, Pearl Schwartz, Arthur Monat, Evelyn Greenberg, Minnie Seidman, Minnie Levine, Francis Brand, Harry Slive, Joel Weisinger, Shirley Gorelick, Joyce Good, Mona Turka, Robert Kames, Scott Slavin, Estelle Hellman, Joshua Goldberg, Mildred Powell, Stephen Lufshine, Harry Feigelman, Wendy Cantor. And we are in the moments of Shloshim for those who have passed in the last month, as we call to the names of Sam Marks, Kim Watson, Stacy Marino, and Leon Vieder. All of their names are precious to us as we share in those names and those known but to God with our Kaddish prayer, as we invite you, please, to read with us and to share with us in the Kaddish page 598 in our prayer books or on our screens. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, B'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, B'agala u'v'zman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mivarach la'olam olmei olmaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha barichu, Le'ela min kol birchavta v'shirata, Tush v'chata v'nechemata, Da'amiran b'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shalom araba min shemaya, V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all of us who mourn and all of us who remember, and grant peace to all of God's children, wherever they may be, as we say together, Amen. It's my pleasure now to invite Carol to share with us announcements that she may have for us tonight. Carol?
Yes, thank you so much, Rabbi. Thank you again for a wonderful service. I hope everybody really enjoyed it. I know that I did. I want to thank Bill Altman for all his technical support and help. And of course, to Terry for all her mentoring for me. And of course, everybody, all the different committees who have helped us along the way. Again, I want to make sure everybody joins us tomorrow morning for our study session at 10:30. Same email for Zoom. And the topic will be Jews in the military. And it's in honor of June 6th being D-Day. So please join us for that. And I also, again, want to remind you about the Mitzvah Project to support the streaming service. So those of us who do not want to come out, not quite ready to leave the house, or for various health reasons or other reasons, want to enjoy our services from home, we would really appreciate your contributing to the streaming services. And you can let me know if you would be willing to do that. I would like to call on Tina LeBeau, our sisterhood president, to give us some sisterhood updates. Tina?
I'm thrilled to say sisterhood is in full swing. We launched our return to normalcy with a very successful installation picnic earlier this month. Over 80 women attended. Our calendar is full of events for the next several months. I won't take the time now to list them. Watch the shofar and your emails for details. Just about everything we do has the ultimate goal of supporting the temple and local outreach programs. Our 2021 membership drive is underway, so please renew or sign up. I do want to make sure you know that Sisterhood is continuing to collect ONEX sponsorships. This is a wonderful way to celebrate Simchas in your family. I am proud and grateful to announce the following recent sponsorships. Judy and Jeff Glazer, in honor of the birth of their grandson, Henry Wyatt, on April 27th. Kay and David Krebs, in honor of their grandson, Ben, who graduated cum laude from the University of Alabama. Carol Lurie, in honor of her grandson, Bradley Walls, who graduated with distinction with a master's from Rutgers University. Iris Chester, in honor of her 25th great-grandchild, born June 1st, named Aurora Moline. And Carol and Arnold Seidman, in honor of their grandchildren, Isabella Seidman and Ethan Glazer, who graduated from high school. Thank you, and stay well, everyone.
Thank you, Tina. Anyone else have any announcements?
I do.
Okay,
I'd like to announce to the congregation
tell
that
who this is.
this is Alan Richter.
Oh, hi, Ellen.
Okay, and I want to announce to the congregation that we are again going to restore our Paris Island program. We have a training session coming up this Monday morning at 11 a.m. at the church. And I invite anybody that is interested in learning more about our program to come and join us at 11 a.m. at the Low Country Presbyterian Church. I'm thrilled to be getting back to some normalcy, and I'm very excited to get our program going again.
I would like to encourage people. I had the opportunity to go there one time as a guest, and I tell you, it's such a mitzvah to do this for our troops. It really is a lovely program. So thank you, Alan, for heading this up. And thank you to all our volunteers.
Thank you, Carol, and thank you, all of you. I know that every announcement and every simcha and every special moment is wonderful and precious, but I would have to say that celebrating your 25th great-grandchild has to be worth a standing ovation if we can do one long distance. So Iris, that is truly a remarkable accomplishment of your family, and to share in the history of that family going forward. It's a remarkable moment. So congratulations to you. Let me just highlight one more moment in light of Al's announcement about Paris Island. That tomorrow we're going to focus on a Jewish hero of the Revolutionary War, a Jewish hero of the Civil War, some letters from the Civil War of Jewish soldiers, and some heroic stories of World War I and World War II. So this was based on the conversation of our Torah study class last month, when a number of you said this would be a really interesting subject for us for tomorrow. So hope you'll join us at 10:30. You didn't have to read anything. I'm going to do most of the talking and hope to get some responses from all of you. But the story of our Jewish people in the battles of our great country, beginning in the Revolution and all the way to the present, are stories that are meaningful and important, and we hope you'll be with us to learn about them and to hear these stories together. So we conclude our service now as we turn back to Al, this time to do the important job of the Kiddush, and then he will be followed by Jan Mintz, who will be doing the Motzi for us, and then we will all be sharing in the Oseh Shalom, as we will wish you a Shabbat Shalom. And think of it this way, not next year in Jerusalem, but next month in Bluffton. How wonderful is that? So Al, lead us in the Kiddush, and everybody get your glasses of wine. And then Jan, share the challah for all of us, wherever we may be.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pari hagafen.
Amen. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. And Jan?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi mechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Amen. Our praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth.
Amen. Now, Jan, it's good that you're not doing this in person, because on any of the Shabbat times when somebody had baskets of raisin challah and the other people had plain challah, the raisin challah was gone in a second, and the other people were stuck with extra challah for the birds or the fish. So we're grateful. It's beautiful challah for tonight. And thank you for sharing a raisin bread with all of us. Very special.
Thank you.
So we conclude our service with the singing of Oseh Shalom, which I think is a video as well. Bill, is that right?
Yes.
Good. So Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I hope I'll see you tomorrow at Torah study at 10:30 to learn about the great heroes of our people in our American history. Shabbat Shalom. and we'll join in the singing of Oseh Shalom. And then I know your very favorite part of the whole service, when everybody gets unmuted and can talk with each other and wish each other a Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Bill.
Yes, Shalom. Say shalom, say shalom, shalom, yeah, say shalom, yeah, say shalom, yeah, say shalom. Thank God, Jennifer Library, Anna Greenfield's out.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, you all.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
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 Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom, Krebses.
It's muted. Okay.
Phyllis Doyle, Shabbat Shalom. It's good to see you.
Oh, that's Jackie.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Hi, Carol.
Yeah.
Hi, Carol, Arnie.
Hey. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Carol.
Hello.
Arnie.
Leave me.
Shabbat shalom, Joan.
Joan.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Simon.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Oh, I like that.
Done?
All right.
Shabbat shalom.
I love you all.
Bye.
Bye.
That picture.
He drove.
Bye. Bye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Leave now. Leave.
See you tomorrow morning.
10:30 sharp. Thank you.
Right, Jan.